Our next caller is Michelle from California.
Hi, Michelle. How can we help you?
Hey guys, thank you so much for taking my question and just for all the content you put out there. I was super lucky. I was recommended your podcast back when I first became a trainer at Gold's Gym and skipped past all the mistakes I hear you guys say a lot of trainers make. And now 4 years later, I'm a full-time mental health therapist as well as a personal trainer in a private setting and a bikini competitor. So I use all the tools you guys put out to help my clients and myself. So thank you.
That's excellent.
Yeah. So I'll jump right into my question and then maybe give a little background information. My question is it detrimental to make a drastic drop in calories below maintenance in order to obtain long-term weight loss? And part of the reason I asked this question, as I said, I'm a bikini competitor and I'm currently in my off season from competing. And the main goal during my off season is to rebalance my hormones because those were super off, make sure all my biomarkers are good, my sleep, my stress, my mental health, trying to get all that balanced, as well as find out what diet works best for me. And the thing is, I was at maybe 1,100 calories, 90 minutes of cardio when I last stepped on stage, and I worked in a reverse all the way up to about 2,700 calories with barely any cardio.
That's phenomenal.
So yeah, gained a lot of muscle, ate a lot of food, gained a lot of muscle and made some great progress. But as you guys know, summer's coming up. So I did still, even though I'm not competing, I still wanted to jump into a cut. And immediately my coach put me in a big deficit, 700 calories to 1,400 calories. Some days were no carbs, which I've literally never done in my life. So I lost a lot of weight, obviously, but I'm just really terrified of the idea of okay, once I stop losing weight, what can we do? How much lower am I going to have to go? How much cardio will I have to do? Because I really don't want to stress if I'm not doing a show this year.
Is he cycling you out of that cut? Is that just a temporary thing or is that a permanent, hey, for the next few weeks or months, we're going to do this? What's it look like?
So at first I thought it was a 1 week, see where you're at, see how much weight you lose, and then we'll adjust from there. And then 1 week turned to 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks turned to 3 weeks. And then I went rogue ultimately. And now I'm kind of trying to build my own program, but I'm scared if I increase the calories too much, now I'm going to gain the 10 pounds that I lost. And I don't want that to happen. But not having carbs made me crazy. It made me have a headache and all that. I really struggled. So
well Michelle, Michelle, let me ask you a quick, because your original question was, is it detrimental to make those drastic drops for long-term weight not loss? And you went from 2,700 calories to, you said 700 to 1,400 calories.
Yeah, carb cycle.
What do you think? What do you think that this is healthy? Because I want to know what your opinion is before I answer, because I have a feeling that you might know the answer already and you might just want confirmation.
Well, so originally I gave a little pushback to my coach and then tried to see it from that perspective. I mean, I just don't know. So I feel like it is. I feel like I've been taught to slowly decrease. But I wasn't sure if his goal was to make me lose a lot of fat, a lot of weight, and then kind of build up into it. Because, ideally, I'd love to go into a show eating more than being at my lowest, which is what I've done in the past. So I don't know if that was the game plan or if he thought maybe I won't lose as much muscle if I do it quickly.
Two big red flags here. One, you didn't know what the plan was. That's a crappy coach. You should know what you're going to be doing, not just here's this and then we'll figure it out. So you should already know. He should explain that to you.
Yeah, sounds like he just did a massive calorie cut, sees that you're leaning out and says, we'll just stay the course until it's not working.
Yeah. Number two, here's another red flag. And this one really pertains to you, Michelle. Why are you hiring a coach that's saying this to you when you're a trainer, you've been a trainer for 4 years. What would you tell your client? Why are you allowing this person to kind of ruin your body, ruin your health through an approach like this? I think you know the answer. That's something you need to answer for yourself. Why are you seeking this out with somebody? Do you think he's going to have the magic answer that's going to give you something that has worked for nobody?
Well, I'm sure I'm sure he touts himself as a professional in the bodybuilding space.
Sure, but that's not the point, right? Like what is it, Michelle, that made you want to do this and stick to it for a few weeks? That's an important question to answer.
I think curiosity as a coach and as someone, I mean, you guys have talked a lot about trying different diets, things like that. I'd never tried no carbs. So I was curious, right, to see, okay, how is my body going to respond? I realized it didn't work. And I did communicate with my coach, like, hey, this isn't working. I'm going to try to add carbs. I'm going to do something different. But I'm curious if it because there are some people that are still doing this diet. So I'm curious as to what.
Well, that's fair. I mean, that's fair. You want to try something out. I mean, I get that. 3 weeks isn't going to ruin your metabolism, so you're okay.
Yeah. So I'm glad you said that because that's what I've been wanting to jump in and say right now. So we have good friend Jordan Syatt and also Eugene Tao. I think I saw they did this a while back. I've seen them both do it on their social media where they tried to address coaches that, you know, are alarmist about, you know, calorie restriction and saying that you're not going to destroy your metabolism over, you know, a week or two of super low calorie. In fact, and they were making the case for how it could be healthy for you and it's not. And they're right. Like in a short period of time, a really, really low calorie diet is not, it's when it becomes chronic.
Yep.
When we get into trouble. And now what I would be concerned as a coach is if you've already been there before where you were chronically under eating and I'm now putting you in that position again, I'm flirting with potentially bad behaviors. So, and that's when you have another level of coaching when they're like, not only are they looking at the X's and O's, but they're also taking into account what I don't want to do to this girl is I don't want to restrict her so hard that she falls into old patterns again and she just cuts. The other red flag is that, you know, he didn't build in like a calorie surplus day in that time. Like you could easily see incredible benefits cutting a tremendous amount of calories in a short period of time. And then also just inserting once a week or once every 10 days or so, a high refeed.
I did get a cheat. Did get a cheat kind of day meal every week, which was different than I've ever done. Whenever I compete, I'd never get any cheat meal. So it was different where he would break up that calorie deficit.
Well, how did he explain the cheat meal? What is that? What do you mean by that?
Often, I mean, again, I'm not competing, so I wasn't as rigid, but it would be like, you know, eat 10-ounce steak with 8 ounces of potato or something that was a lot higher in fat, carbs, protein, to just boost up. And the idea was to kind of re-engage my metabolism or kickstart my metabolism back so it didn't get too adjusted to the low calories.
How high was he going? Because a steak and potato is not like...
Yeah, that's one meal. So what would that take your calories to?
Yeah, what would it take your this cheat meal or / day if you were restricting 1,400 calories a day, let's say?
Well, 700 to 1,400.
Yeah, right. 700 to 1,400 calories a day. What did the day when you decided to get, or when you were allowed to get this cheat meal, what did that push you up to?
It pushed me up to probably like 1,800 or so.
1,800 total calories when you were that's still a cut. You were just saying a couple of weeks ago you're 2,700. A surplus, I would take you back to maintenance surplus, which would be 2,700 to 2,900 calories for that one day. You're going from an extreme cut to a kind of cut is still keeping you chronically cutting.
Yeah.
So
1,800 calories is a 900 calorie cut from what she was at.
That's
before.
What I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You didn't go to a surplus. A surplus would be, or at least maintenance, at 2,700.
Yeah.
So going from 1,100 or being super low and then bumping you up 400 or 500 calories is not doing it. The body is still starving for nutrients. It's not, you're still depriving it from where you were just a month ago. So. That's not. There's a lot of red flags here on as far as the coaching strategy here. Sal pointed out not even knowing what you're doing. I don't think it's necessary for you to have to cut that much. Not doing like a proper refeed, in my opinion. So there's a lot of those things that I'm not a fan of. But I do want to make clear that I don't want to be alarmist with this because I think what both Jordan Syatt and our friend Eugene Tao, the post that they did, I think it was a good post. When they shared this, that, you know, it is okay. I do this all the time where, you know, I've been eating in a surplus for a while. And I'm like, you know what, this week I'm going to eat real low calorie.
I mean, you can literally fast for 7 days.
Yeah.
Eat nothing.
Yeah. And it's not going to fuck your metabolism.
No, I mean, it depends on the person. Of course, if you're in like extreme, right? But matters. Context matters. But for the average person, short period isn't going to cause that. Long term, it can definitely cause some issues. Now you're not competing anymore. What is your goal exactly? You have a specific goal? Like, are you trying to drop a certain percent body fat?
Well, the idea, I mean, I plan on competing. I want to go on the national stage to try to get my pro card.
Okay.
eventually, but I also, the feedback is always grow, grow, grow. So I built a lot of muscle, and I want to know, I want to get lean enough to see where I'm at and see if I can go into a show or if I should get back into a bulk and build more muscle so that when I get on the probe on the stage.
Sure.
Well, hey, Michelle, a 3-week aggressive cut like you did, and then going back to kind of a short bulk. That's a great strategy, actually. That's not a bad strategy. If it's only 2 or 3 weeks, and then you go back to a small bulk, that's not a bad strategy at minimizing fat gain or even losing some body fat and then trying to build in that short bulk period. So I like that strategy. I don't like the long-term cut. I get it before a show. I mean, when you're trying to get on stage, nothing that you do, especially the few weeks leading to a show, is going to be healthy. So I get that. But right now you're just kind of trying to see for yourself. There's nothing wrong with the alternating approach where you kind of trend towards getting leaner, but you're giving your body, definitely giving your body time to have more calories and more nutrients and, kind of preserving some of the muscle that you've built.
Yeah, I think there was an episode that I listened to that Adam had actually kind of suggested something like that. Mm-hmm. And it was when I was just starting this, and it was like 3 days of deficit and then 3 days of a more maintenance or above maintenance calorie range. And the thing is, I've been in this kind of deficit and then going up and kind of going back and forth, and I've maintained a lot of muscle. I mean, I think I wrote down that I just hit a PR for 405 for my glute bridges. Like, I'm surprised that my strength is not going down. My strength is going up.
Awesome.
While still in this deficit.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I mean,
that's a good sign.
Yeah, that's definitely a good sign. So, but I would keep those short. I would, especially now. Now, when you get into show prep, that's a little different. But for something like this, you've already done 3 weeks. I would go back to maintenance for a couple. If your goal is ultimately to get leaner, then you want the cuts to be a little longer than the bulks, right? So I would go like 3 week cut, maybe a 2 week, 1.5 to 2 week, maintenance or slight bulk, and then go back to a 3 week type cut until it'll take you longer to get there, but it's not going to cause problems. But also, pay attention. You sound like you're pretty put together. Just pay attention to the behaviors that might encourage. It's not, that up and down with the food. If you find yourself feeling restrictive and then bingey, then go back to something more consistent, because that's going to be most important. That's what's going to stick to you past these competitions,
Yeah. I'm a mental health therapist. First and foremost, mental health is always number one, especially when it comes to food habits and living.
Excellent.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah, you get it. You get it. No, perfect. Michelle, is there any program we can give you? Can we give you something to follow?
I mean, I have almost all of them. The only one I don't have is PED, but I don't know if that's
probably not what you need.
Yeah.
Did you get the new one already?
Did you get Symmetry?
Yeah, we got it.
Awesome.
Okay, good deal.
Got the Symmetry and the 2 ebooks it came with. So,
well, if you stop by, we'll give you a hug.
Well, I was gonna say about the forum. Would I be able to join that?
Yeah, we'll let you in for sure.
Yeah. And in fact, by the way, we have quite a few competitors in there, and a lot of people that have coached themselves. Some people that are not. Some people I've actually coached are in there. So yeah, there's a great community in there around the competition. So make sure you get in there and introduce yourself.
Yeah, that would be so helpful.
Awesome. We'll see you in there then.
Thanks for calling in, Michelle.
So much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you said that, Adam. I mean, 3 weeks, right? It's not going to do. I mean, you could literally fast for a week, like eat nothing, and of course, you got to be healthy and all that stuff, and it's not going to have this crazy, detrimental effect on your metabolism. But you follow a super low calorie diet plus lots of exercise for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah.
Now that adaptation starts to happen.
It's really the behaviors and the trends you gotta watch with that. Yeah, the temporary approach, you can rebound from that pretty good. It actually benefits you.
Well,
in some cases,
especially when it's consistently for months, and the direction you're always going is less and less and less and less, like without any sort of interruption of, hey, how about for a week we run to a maintenance surplus? And I think it's as simple as that. But I think you hit it on the head. Like there's several red flags here with just his approach. The fact that he's not sharing what the plan is already.
Right. Well, I mean, a lot of these coaches, it's just
you need clarity. You need that up front.
Well, they hit the same button every time.
They do.
Oh, you want to hire me? Here we go. Boom, low calorie. Boom, extra workouts.
Yeah, and then they
it stopped working. Lower calorie, extra workouts.
And they ride that train as long as they can.
Yeah.
And it sounds exactly what he's doing. Is just like, I'm just going to cut her calories. Oh, she's still seeing results. She's still strong. Keep pushing it.
Yeah.
Just keep pushing
More
it.
cardio.
Yeah, it's just
Lower eating.
it's terrible.